Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. This week we have a musician Sadler Vaden, who you may know from his solo career or from playing in the 400 unit with Jason Isbell. In this episode, we talk about how he's always had dad energy, life with a 4 and a 1-year-old, what is considered dad music, and recording his new album, Dad Rock. This was really cool to have Sadler on, and we appreciate his time, and we really hope you enjoy the episode. So, Sadler, welcome to a dad podcast. I do still feel like I should call you Dadler for this episode and just see if anyone will pick up on it the entire time.
I think if there's any moment or time to really lean into the Dadler thing, this is now.
It wasn't releasing an album called Dad Rock. It was doing a dad podcast, and this was the moment. So
yes, this is the moment I've been waiting for.
Did you first coin the phrase Dadler for yourself, or did someone? Because I feel like I remember seeing you like post like entering into my Dadler era or something like that. Did you come up with that, or did someone come up with that for you?
I did. I think so. I did come up with it. Yeah. No. When we found out we were pregnant with our first child, Townsend. That's when I made I was still on Twitter at the time, and I made an announcement. And I think it came to me as I was, writing that tweet. So I put it out there, Dadler 2020 or something. And I was working with an artist at the time, and then she just started calling. I mean, it made sense to everyone that saw it, obviously, clearly.
Yeah.
I think it made so much sense that some friends and this artist I was working with at the time started calling me Dadler, and I do. And some of the artists I work with are younger, so it makes sense.
Oh, okay.
It's like I'm there, that I'm producing or whatever. Yeah. So I think they look at me maybe that a little bit too. So music dad.
That's right. Do you have a lot of fatherhood? Like, for the people you produce, do you look at them and be like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed? Do you say phrases like that?
Oh yeah. Or so, yesterday I was working with some people, and my lovely guitar tech, Dave Brown, came in because we were just in Mexico City, and our gear, it takes a while to get back home, and so it just got home, and I was like, hey, I need some guitars because he's about to go out of town, blah blah blah. So he stopped by and brought me some guitars, and I was working with some artists, and said, hey guys, why don't you play Dave what we've been working on, and it was just, that's so dad. It's like I wanted my kids to show off.
Oh yeah.
For Dave.
You're like, can you go play that song on piano while Dave is here real quick? You've been practicing all week. Can you do it real quick?
Yeah. Show them that new move you learned in karate.
That's right.
That thing. So
that is strong dad energy. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
I know you have 2 kids, right?
I do. I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Ooh, congrats. Is your second kid officially 1? Like he's made it to the 1-year mark?
Yes. He turned 1 in December of last year, 2 days after Christmas. And my 4-year-old turned 4 in October of last year. So
dang.
They have pretty close birthdays. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
I always feel like the first 2 years of a kid's life are the most exhausting because they literally can't do anything for themselves at all. And you have these little moments of like, at 6 months, you have some neck muscles, you can sit up. That's great. At 1, they're probably walking, but like, it's still, those first 2 years are extremely, extremely exhausting. How do you feel like the first year went for you with the second kid?
Well, that was very, very hard. And it was funny because I was talking to my wife before we went to bed last night about that. And I just was saying, obviously not as much for me as you, but it's such a test of like your human abilities.
Yep.
I mean, you're just really pushed to the brink, and I think I can't really compare Theodore's first year to Townsend's first year because we had Townsend in October of 2020. So that was in like pandemic lockdown mode. Yep. I wasn't touring. And then we kind of came back touring in 2021, but it wasn't full on yet.
Yeah.
So it's hard to compare because last year I played around 100 shows
Yeah.
And the family did come out for a little bit of that, but it was a hard year,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I would say hard for me because, I wanted to be home more and help, and also really hard Candace, because it's like you've got you've got the postpartum thing, you've got just the balance of like, I'm returning to work, I just had a kid, I have another kid, my husband's not here, so it was a very challenging year, but it's really hard for me to they're two totally different experiences, but then in a lot of ways easier. I think just easier because he's a different baby too. They weren't the same, like sleep habits are different, everything's different, and you just know your tricks now, and I think we did a good job of we're not super quiet around Theo, and part of that is because we just couldn't help it. On a Saturday, we've got a 3-year-old running around. You can't just be like, you have to be quiet for 3 hours or something. It's not going to happen. So you choose your hard. I'd rather let him just be a 3-year-old and let Theo get used to that. And so I feel like you just have your skills are a bit sharpened by the second one.
I think I have a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old, and the first two are like 23 months apart. And if the second child was taking a nap, I would just go take the older one to a playground. Like that's pretty much just it. Was like, all right, you're a kid, you're going to be loud. And whenever your kid is having a meltdown, you say, hey, can you not be so loud? For some reason, it doesn't make things better. They don't really take that advice. That's whenever I just learned, like, within a mile of my house, how fast can I get to a playground? How much time can I get out of this playground so this kid, and hopefully my wife also, can take a nap, rest up while I take care of this as much as possible.
Sure. Yeah, that's good. I feel like that's something that we've done well, because he can nap through, like we got a new roof the other day.
Ooh.
And he napped through that. So
dude, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's
so,
cool.
Yeah, we've done a good job there.
No, I loved the when we had our second kid, because every comfort technique, it's funny because you have like your bag of tricks, but like the second kid hates half of them, is what I always felt like. It's like all the comfort techniques that my firstborn loved, my secondborn despised. Have you had any moments like that?
Yeah, I think, just didn't go, like, not buying into that for sure. I know he never did too well with the, when they're really upset and they're a newborn and you put them on their belly, kind of on their side, and you kind of cradle them, and you're sort of like rocking them back and forth, and you're going, shh, that move. Yeah. Theo just didn't go for that at all. Didn't go for that.
I think our oldest wanted to be like swaddled, held up against you, absolutely no lights in the room, white noise machine, all of this. And our second kid was like, don't touch me. And I'm like, oh, that is okay. I can do that. But okay, cool. I'm not sure how to connect with you now. So cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. And I think that's just the first kid is getting so much attention from you, because you're literally concerned with, just keeping them alive. You're so worried about it, and the second kid comes along and it's like, I'm second born. Yeah. So I have an older sister, and you're just not as, you're still worried about him, but
it's different. It's different.
With us, it's like, where's Theo? Oh, he's walking up the stairs,
Yep.
So it's having that first kid that's soaking up a lot of attention and things like that, because that's what they're used to. You gave them a lot of attention, so that's what they need. But it's interesting, very interesting.
Did you? I feel like I saw this. Remember seeing this? Did you take your wife to the Grammys after Theo was born?
Yes.
How was that experience?
Yeah, I think for her, well, we took the kids, and her mom came with us and stuff. So cool. we were, in LA with like a 8-week-old or something. I don't know. Yeah, like a 6-week-old, making it work. You know what I mean? I think for Candace, it's like, I think she doesn't even remember it.
No.
But it was really fun, and we won that day. So that's kind of made the whole experience like, well, we won. So but yeah, we did that a lot last year. We did some stuff on the West Coast that they came to, and you just with what I do, my schedule, yeah, just have to try to make it work. And I mean, rock and roll hours and parenting hours do not mix very
not so
well.
Much.
But like I said earlier, like choose your hard. It's like it's hard being gone. It's hard, having kids on the road.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather them be around more than not. And so if I'm a little tired, that's okay. That's okay. Because I'll find a place to nap or something if I can. I'm not really a good napper, by the way.
No, I'm not. I've never been a good napper either. Like, I feel like whenever I nap, it's an accidental nap. Like, I'll do more put on a TV show for the kids or something like that. And I'll look up and the show's over and be like, did I just take a 20-minute nap? And then I'm just disoriented for like the next hour because I didn't mean to nap, but my body clearly needed me to nap.
I like sitting with my eyes closed. I'm not sleeping, but sometimes I'm just like, and that's a sign of a tired dad.
Do you have a recliner? Do you have a recliner in your front room?
No,
not yet.
No. I'm not there yet. Yeah, but that's when you know someone's tired, when they're just like, I just like to close my eye when I can just sit there and close my eyes, So
my wife will do that. We'll be like watching a show and be like, "Hey, you still watching?" She's like, "No, my eyes just burn and I'm just closing them for a little bit." And I'm like, "Should I go ahead and pause the TV show?" And she's like, "No, I'm still listening and paying attention." And I'm like, I totally get that energy though of like, if I go to sleep, then like tomorrow starts. Not that tomorrow's a bad day, but then this all starts over. And right now I can hopefully watch a show or relax a little bit. And once I go to bed, I can't anymore.
Yeah, we always have huge plans for when the kids are down, like what we're gonna do, and then it literally always ends up with like we're both laying in bed, not in like bedtime mode, but we're just laying there and we looked over like, I don't think that glass of wine and movie's gonna happen tonight.
Not so much. The hope and the intentions are so high, but by the time like my older kids, like I don't feel like they actually fall asleep until like 9 p.m., 9:15 some nights. So like you just sit there and you anticipate. It's like, let's watch a show. And I'm like, okay, so what can we watch that I'm okay with pausing every 5 minutes? Because I know a kid's going to walk in and just tell me a story, which is really sweet and adorable. But like, I'm not like, I remember whenever we tried to watch through like The Last of Us or something like that. And I would just listen to the steps the entire time. I really don't want a 7-year-old to walk in as a zombie is eating someone's brains and then have to explain that also. But also I really want to watch the show with my wife. How do I do this?
Yeah. I think I read somewhere it's like, this is just your dark ages, that's like you're missing out on pop culture. You're missing. Now I'm thankful I get to go on the road. I feel like that even though it's hard being away and it's hard on my wife and things like that. And when they get to come out, it's great too. But I think that kind of keeps you a little bit more like up to date. Because you're out in the world and, seeing how things are shaking out in different places and stuff. So.
And I would imagine, especially, I know you play music, you produce music, that you probably need to be aware of like trends and how music is flowing and stuff. That way you can be like somewhat aware of it in your subconscious as you go into the studio.
Yeah, I'm really not good at it as far as staying aware. Like I try, but what's really, to get sort of music focused for a second, what's really odd to me, and this, I could be way off, but I feel like, I don't know, there's so many different types of music that are working and all that. It's like, I don't really know what the trend is. I think when you look at history, when you look at music, certain decades, 50s, 60s, 70s, you can kind of hear like, oh, this is when everyone was, the trend was recording in these big reverby spaces, rooms and stuff. So everybody wanted that sound. Then in the 70s, it became everyone's recording really like kind of tiny and dead and dry and Steely Dan records and things like that, where everything's just like not reverby and rhythm. you know, and then the 80s come along. What happens again?
Oh, so wet.
Everything's more, yeah, either that or it's more, it's like, you know, they're using samples and they're, you know, programming is happening and synthesizers and all that. So, right now, I don't know. I don't even know what is. I don't know what there's not one clear.
Okay.
I guess avenue as to what people are doing now, because you've got like this artist over here, they're washing the reverb. This artist over here, it's all dry and this, and then this is pop and this is, you know, so it's kind of good. It's kind of a mess in a good way to me, but I could be wrong, and someone will probably correct me, but I'm sure that there might be, but to me, that's why, I don't know, if I just hear, I use my Shazam a lot now.
Oh, do you?
Talk about being a dad.
What is this song? I don't know this song.
And listen up, kids. When Shazam came out, I wasn't a dad. I was a young person. A youth. But, yeah, I was a youth, and so I don't know if you know, I don't know if the youth is using Shazam at all. They might be. But I definitely feel like a dad when I'm in a store and I'm like this song. Who is this? And I'm holding my phone up to the try to get it, and I'm telling people to shh. It's got to pick it, you know. But I do try to stay up to date, and I like Shazam for that's awesome.
Okay.
And most of the time, it's a song that's been out for like 26 years.
isn't that I still remember like being a kid and like having LimeWire and Kazaa and all those things, and then like trying to illegally download music, and then like downloading, I grew up listening to like the emo pop punk stuff, and all of like the songs would be labeled incorrectly, so it'd be like the Get Up Kids, the saddest song ever, and I'm like, that's not the name of the song, it's this, and then I'd want to like somehow correct it, and I'm like, you can't go on the illegal thing you're using, Devin, and make sure it's like accurate anymore. So it's a little different than back then.
Yeah, the Get Up Kids I saw, are they doing something now?
They're doing
back,
like 25th anniversary tour. Away. They did go away for a bit. It's 25 years since Something to Write Home About, so they'll hit up Nashville like February 1st or something like that.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So very cool.
Yeah. Which actually leads well into my next discussion of what is dad music, because we are now at the age where like Get Up Kids, perfect example. Something to Write Home About came out 25 years ago. Is it now technically dad music? So Dadler, what do you consider dad music?
Yeah, that's, I think there's a lot of different probably definitions as far as like what, you know, section of bands, you know, like for me, when I made my record Dad Rock, you know, some people might say that's not dad rock. That's to whatever. But I think really to me, it's just like when there's like, I don't know, guitars involved and things like that.
When it's the music with guitars, it's dad rock.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. A little bit, you know, and, but I think, I don't know. I think our generation probably has a different definition than say like the generation after us. They probably have a different definition of what dad rock is. But you know, I was coming at it from just trying to think of like, you know, music that you listen to in a garage, you know, and sort of like, you know, it's just it straddles the line of being cool and uncool.
Yeah. There's some cheese on it.
Yeah. There's a little bit. I mean, I think like, you know, a lot of people love to call Wilco dad rock, but it's like, is Spoon dad rock? You know?
I don't know.
I don't know. This is like that Yacht Rock documentary where someone's got to come in and make some hard rules, make some hard parameters, you know?
I know. I mean, Yacht Rock, I feel like actually we had a guest on or did a call a couple weeks ago, and the guy, he has a Yacht Rock cover band. And I'm like, that seems like the most dad thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to agree with it. A Yacht Rock dad cover band feels about as dad music as you can possibly approach.
Yeah. And you know, for me, I wasn't necessarily, for one, I didn't want to make a record that every song was just like about being a dad. And like, I thought, well, I don't want to do that. And then I thought, I don't want it to be like so genre specific that it comes off as like a joke or something like that. So I try to kind of marry both things. And I wrote a song called I'll Always Come Back, which is something that my wife, well, I always tell my kids, like when I'm on tour, like, you know, Daddy, I'll be back. Like I always come back, you know? So that's where the idea kind of started with having that song. And then I was like, this is good, because it's not outwardly talking about being a dad, but it's, you know, it's in there. And then I heard Jerry Rafferty's Right Down the Line, and I thought, it just sounds so dad, like such a dad rock song in my mind. So I kind of married the two. Yeah. So I took a little bit of that vibe of Jerry Rafferty with the subject matter of the song. Yeah. And that's when I was like, okay, I think I could just make a record and just call it dad rock, because I am a dad. I rock.
You do rock out.
And you know, I'm playing guitar, and it's like something that guitar is still very popular, but I think it is looked at in some ways of like, you know, like an instrument of, you know, times before a little bit. Yeah. Sometimes, like, I don't know. But I think that style too, like playing like rock and roll music, I think.
What a weird thing to realize, that like playing slide on guitar at some point in time will be like more a thing of the past. I'm like, oh man, is that in our future? That can't be in our future.
And I don't know if I mean like a thing of the past, but just like the idea of like, you know, you and friends in a garage playing like guitar based music, you know. I know that it's still happening, but it's kind of less happening, you know. No. I think a lot of folks are, you know, probably they're on their laptop. It's a very like independent, like you know, thing where they're programming and they're, you know, using the tools at their disposal, which is great. But yeah, so I don't have any, it's hard to define. You know?
It is hard to define.
And I remember seeing John Mayer's record, Sob Rock. Yeah. And I remember seeing a piece of merch he had. It was a coffee mug, and it said, Sob Rock is dad rock. And I thought, now you're just trying to trick me into thinking, I was like, and I thought to myself, why didn't you just call the record dad rock?
Because he's not a dad?
Well, there you go. And then I said, then I thought, well, that's what I'm going to do it. I'll just do it. Yeah. Because I've got nothing to lose.
That's right. Why not?
John Mayer doesn't have anything to lose.
I like the thought of you sitting around and being like, you know what, John Mayer, I'm going to one-up you. I'm going to show you what's up.
And guess who heard the album? Not John Mayer.
Not John Mayer. Probably not John Mayer.
There's still time, though.
There's still time. It still exists out there in the ether. But no, it's very different than like, I grew up playing guitar and stuff. And like, you had the friend who had the drum kit. You go to your friend's basement or like the bonus room above their garage and play through songs awfully for like an entire afternoon. Yeah. Is very different than like, hey man, like right now I could Dropbox you a guitar track that I wrote and you could then listen to it and mess with it. And it's just a very different energy than like being 15, 14, something like that. And just messing around and making mistakes together.
Yeah, I think that's the idea, and that's kind of what was coming through in the music, you know, for it too. So, yeah, but it was a really fun record to make, and of course I always come out like, you know, I want this thing to be like kind of low key. I don't want to, you know, put it out, but then you know it turns into then there's vinyl, and then there's all this stuff,
a whole machine behind it.
And but yeah, I think a lot of people enjoyed it and are still discovering it. And I got to have like some of my heroes play on it. Ben Montench from Tom Petty and Heartbreakers, Elliot Easton, they're both dads. Cool. You know, so I kind of would connect with them via Instagram and stuff like that, kind of about like music, but also like dad stuff. And so I straight up asked them if they wanted to play on it, and they obliged. Awesome. And so it's a really, really fun record to make. Yeah. So I know I'll look back on it, and also my boys will see as they grow up, like there was this record that my dad made that's kind of about them, you know. It's about
whenever they both were very young. So like I feel like there's a lot of, when your kids are as young as yours are, there's a lot of very raw energy that you try to like tap into. So that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, but I do have to ask, do you think Oasis is dad music?
Yeah, kind of now a little bit. But I do think, for some reason, dad rock to me has a little yacht in it. But that's, you know, I think there's a lot of there's differing viewpoints on what's dad rock and what's not.
Do you think, how many times are you going to see Oasis on their reunion tour?
Well, I'm hoping I can see them at least once.
At least once, okay.
Yeah, because my tour schedules, of course, the dates that they're playing in America.
Yeah.
Perfectly line up when I'm not going to be in America.
Yes, yeah.
Which is okay though, and I think there's a show or two that I think I'm going to be able to go to. Okay. So we'll see. Okay. I saw them in 2009.
Yeah.
I think 2009. Yeah. And wait, no, it was 2005. It was 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those songs, they stand up, and when you see a band and they're loud and they have an attitude.
Yeah, they're very much Oasis as an attitude.
Yeah, and it's like, I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want that. I like for people to be nice people, but I think sometimes there's so much concern with what somebody's going to think about something that's just kind of like, just own it, and be a badass. It's okay. It's okay,
And the Gallagher brothers very much own all of that energy.
Yeah, for better or worse.
For better and worse, yes.
And I think that's and they've done an insane job of staying relevant this whole time.
Yeah.
That Oasis hasn't been around, but no, I knew that they would get back together.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of knew that they would at some point. But yeah, I think they're dad rock. They're kind of dad rock at this point.
I think they are. Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, my favorite British band from that era, besides Radiohead, is probably Travis. I feel like Travis doesn't get enough attention. Travis. But Travis has like the prettiest harmonies. Like their lead singer's voice is just genuinely pretty. And like The Boy With No Name, I think is the name of that one album. Like I'll listen to that like front to start. Like the song Closer is just like a pretty beautiful song. So.
Yeah, I was hanging with a friend of mine. His name's Dan Leas, who's in the band Augustana.
Oh yeah,
that's his band.
It's him,
and that's him, Augustana. And I was hanging with him the other day, and we were kind of writing something that sounded very like Travis. Yeah. So it's funny that you brought Travis up. Yeah. They have a new record though.
They do,
right?
Yeah. I think they just released one. Yeah.
Haven't listened to it yet, but that's what I'm going to do today.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to listen to it. But yeah, that band's great. I love all that. I love the Verve.
Yeah.
Because I felt like for me, when those bands came out, that was I felt like those were my bands, not my parent bands.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And although I'm still currently listening, I was listening to the Magical Mystery Tour this morning, taking my kid to school. It's like, I still go back and listen to so much like old music. I can't help it. It's just so good. It's just too good.
Yep. If I ever have the energy to do it, I would love to start a second podcast called like Music from My Parents' Kitchen, in which you talk about all the music you're still obsessed with because you had to listen to it so much as a kid, and how much like the music of your household like ingrains itself inside of you, and how unique of a relationship that is.
Yeah. It wasn't until I got into bands and stuff that I heard Get Up Kids and all that. So Stretch Armstrong. Do you remember that band? Yep. Stretch Armstrong. Yep. What is it? Gosh, I can't even think of all the bands of that kind of era. But it wasn't until I got around, kids that maybe were a little older than me, and got turned on to all that stuff, the pop punk emo stuff. So.
Which was a very unique scene, very unique vibe, and all that. So, but for me, those were the first bands that I listened to where I was like, oh, I discovered this, I found this, and this is mine. So.
Yep. And I remember the Get Up Kids. I remember liking the Get Up Kids.
Yeah, they're
a lot. Yeah, I should go back and listen to some of that stuff. One band I was in, we toured with Me Without You.
Oh, yeah.
We toured with Motion City Soundtrack.
Yeah, all that scene. Yeah.
May. Remember the band May?
I do.
Yeah,
yes.
May.
Yep.
Copeland.
Yep. That's a very, very specific early 2000s indie, but Christian-esque all at the same time. Yeah,
there was a Christian tone to it for sure. Yeah.
They might have all been on Tooth and Nail. I'm not sure. This is a huge sidebar from fatherhood. I'm sorry.
Less Than Jake.
Less Than Jake, Streetlight Manifesto, all those good bands. So
the early November, I remember doing some shows with. Yeah. Midtown.
Yeah. Yep.
Nope.
Here's speaking of my childhood, the Ataris, all that good stuff. You know,
the Ataris was good. Yeah.
Poor Ataris, they're a one-hit wonder for a cover song. You know, that just sucks. That sucks.
What was
for
the
them.
song again?
It was Boys of Summer. I think they did a cover of Boys of Summer, and they had like 5 albums, but like that was the only song anyone
Mike Campbell and Don Henley were happy about it.
They were very happy about that. Yes. Before I'll do like the 5 questions that we did with Ricky to end the episode. I have one additional question for you though. You guys will be out here in May in Denver. You're going to play like 3 different venues. What do I go to? Do I go to Red Rocks? Do I go to Mission Ballroom? Do I go see you in Colorado Springs? Do I talk my wife into going to all of the shows? What do I do?
Well, you know, have you been to Red Rocks before?
Yeah, I went and saw Arcade Fire like a couple months ago at Red Rocks. It was perfect. Yeah.
I would say usually, I mean, Red Rocks is always fun. I would say if you hadn't been there, I would say, hey, you should go to Red Rocks. But I don't know. I mean, the Mission Ballroom's a great, you know, you'll get, we'll probably play a different show every night. So, I don't know.
Just tell me to go to all of them so I can justify it to my wife. That's really the answer.
Just go to all of them.
Devin, why did we spend like $500 in tickets? Well, because, Sadler, Dadler, how we know their episodes, we ask every guest the same 5 questions. First question, did you have any backup names for your kids?
Backup names?
Yeah, like names you almost named them.
Let's see. Townsend, we were looking at Liam. We liked Liam a lot. And it really,
love Oasis.
and honestly, and it really it didn't even have anything to do with Oasis, I promise. I know no one will believe that. But Candace liked Liam. And so, but with Theodore, we almost named him Charles. That was my dad's name. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was, could have been Charles. But yeah, we ended up going with Theo instead. So
that's sweet. Next question. Do you have a favorite TV or movie dad?
Wow, that's a really good question. Oh man, I mean, Coach Taylor, Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights, yep. Solid TV dad. Yep.
Yeah, great TV dad.
Next question. Do you have a least favorite kids show? Like whenever your sons go to watch it, you almost like walk out of the room because you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's funny. I've never sat and watched
nice.
And I know anything that my kids watch, I know that it's okay that they watch. I just want to preface that.
Yeah.
I mean, a Dino Ranch, I can't take like Dino Ranch. It's like the colors are just, I don't know, too bright. And
it's weird, right? Like
I don't know what the plot is.
Your kid puts on a TV show and you're like, or you put on a show for your kid and you're like, I don't know what's happening. Everything's really bright. This is really loud. And I'm just I feel bristled and on edge the entire time the show was on.
Dino Ranch is a treat for our kid. That's like, because we try to keep him to like Bluey or Wild Kratts. He likes Wild Kratts a lot. It's cool. Yeah. So something that's like, try to be like kind of educational. I mean, Dino Ranch is fine, but it's just that theme song and everything.
It's like, I can't. I'm good.
Yeah.
Next question. Do you have a favorite kids toy or activity or thing you do with your sons that you really enjoy doing?
I like being outside with my kids. So anything that is outdoors, like he's learning to ride the bike. So helping him ride the bike, playing basketball. He likes doing that. We have a little pitch machine, like just shoots the ball straight up and
that's cool.
Anything like that. I like doing that a lot. Yeah.
That's cool. And last question, moment of your kid's life you're most excited to be a part of?
I think I think I just like thing I was most excited about, but I just took him to Monster Jam.
Yeah.
And I think like that memory, I think I'm just excited. It's like those moments of like just creating memories, like just, taking him to his first basketball game or stuff like that. I think, I know that I should be saying like the day he gets married or like whatever, but I just like those because those are just really great, memorable like moments, like his first whatever, so I think it's that. I mean, as he gets older, I don't know what they're going to be into. No. So, but I like that. Taking him to Monster Jam and seeing how excited he was when he got home. I think at the event he was kind of like trying to take it in.
Yeah.
But when he got home, you know, he just wanted to tell Mom, you know, about every single thing that happened, and just seeing how excited he was about it just made me be like, that's fun. That's a great memory. I can't wait to do more of that type of stuff, you know.
I mean, it's so different because whenever your kids are like less than 2, they aren't able to communicate as much, like if they enjoy something or not. And you're kind of guessing, like, I think you enjoy this, I think not. So yeah, when you come home from the event, the sports event, the Monster Jam or something like that, and your kid talks about it, like says words faster than you ever knew they could speak to everyone they run into. And then you're like, oh, hey, I'm actually having a positive effect. And that was a good memory. Oh, thank goodness. That's really nice.
Yeah. I anything like that, I'm just excited to do more of, you know, so.
Well, the only other thing I have is if we want to like follow you, listen to your music or anything like that, like what's your Instagram handle? Where can we find your music? Do some self-promotion, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So anyone can go to sadlervaden.com. And then my Instagram is at Sadler Vaden. I think Instagram's, I'm on Threads too, which is basically Instagram. So at Sadler Vaden. I'm not on X. And I'm not on Facebook and things like that. So, but you can sign up for my mailing list at sadlervaden.com. Link to my store where you can buy vinyl and shirts and all that stuff is there. And just come see me on the road with Jason Isbell in the 400 unit. And then just keep following me for other stuff. I'll be putting out music. I'll be producing. Yeah. So, it's kind of a fun place to follow. So
sweet. Well, Sadler, sincerely, I think I've been listening to you play guitar since Something More Than Free. So I've been a fan of your music, fan of listening to you. As I messaged you also, huge Josh Ritter fan. So even like I saw Josh Ritter in Colorado Springs this past Sunday. So like re-listened to Fever Breaks. I was like, oh, that's Sadler playing on this song. Like, that's awesome. That's cool.
When you messaged me about that, I was like, well, I haven't thought of that record in a while. But that was a really, I need to go listen to that again. It was a really fun record to be on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember Josh. When he played that album at the Ryman, I was like, man, what if any members of the 400 watt unit are in town? If you want to just step on stage and take a turn, that'd be great. That'd be great. So,
well, Josh, if you're listening, invite me next time, and I will come and I will if I'm in town. I'll come and play.
Yes. Yep. But Sadler, man, big fan of your music, big fan of what you do, and sincerely, genuinely, really appreciate you taking the time to do a call. Thanks a ton, and really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Devin. Yeah, man, nice to meet you on here, and I'll see you in Colorado.
Yeah, man, see you out there.
You let me know. All right.
Yeah, well, thanks, Sadler.
All right, see you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Nashville Dads, and make sure to follow us on anywhere you find your podcast, and please give us a 5-star rating. And thank you to Matt Oakes for providing the music for the episode. Catch you next time.